This is an ARP Solus. I picked it up from Atomic Music in Beltsville, Maryland yesterday. This is the first physical ARP I've ever touched, as far as I know. Two VCOs, filter, envelope generator, VCA, and an LFO. Both VCOs have pulse width modulation. You have select mixable waveforms from square to triangle and a composite in the middle. You have filter with cutoff and resonance. The modulation inputs are fairly standard for the filter. You can do the ADSR, the LFO, and keyboard. The ADSR also has an invert switch. There's a very simple mixer from VCO1 to VCO2, and the VCO2 can also be ring modulated with VCO1, which obviously gives a much harsher sound than just adding the two together. And also it has an external input, which you can select that. So when the external input is plugged in, it overrides the ring modulator. And I'd read online that you could ring modulate the external input, but that does not seem to be the case. Envelope generator can be put into retrigger mode, so it can be basically re-triggered through the LFO. So you can produce repeating envelopes. And the CV inputs and gates, inputs and outputs are available up here. Again, if you use the CV input or a gate input or a trigger input, it overrides the internal ones. So for instance, if you put a CV in, then this panel basically is overridden. So here's ring modulator. So you hear, there you're hearing the beat frequency basically between the two oscillators. There it is, just summed. You can retune the second piece oscillator. We can also do the same thing instead of adding, we can ring modulate. So as you can hear, it's a much harsher sound than the add. Patch gate out to gate in, and of course it now just plays continuously. So usually most people are interested in movement in the sound. With oscillator 2, we can use FM from either the ADSR, the envelope generator, or the LFO square wave. So let's just play with the LFO to start with. So here we go, we have a simple modulation between two tones of the We could try to tune that to be a fifth or an octave, etc. Now, currently we've set it up so that the ADSR is we can set up to in trigger mode. So let's just trigger it. So what we're hearing is the decay, the ADSR, controlling the cutoff. There we go, ring modulating the variable frequency with the fixed frequency. And we can use the attack to go up as well. And this is something I recorded on a looper. As you can see, it's not being ring modulated, it does just take over instead of the ring modulated signal. That's the two oscillators ring modulated. That's just the external input. So I've seen it say that the ring modulator modulates the external input, but it just doesn't seem to in reality. Anyway, still have the full voltage control. So here we are manipulating the external input sound. So it has the re-triggering ADSR using the LFO to set how often it re-triggers. It does have the ring modulator. And that can obviously be used a lot. I haven't found a way of bypassing the voltage controlled amplifier. You can sit down to a low level so it's always on, but it might just be that it's because it always has some ADSR fed through. So personally I would have preferred it if this had gone at this end to basically have the VCA on all the time. So obviously here we have the ADSR sharp envelopes. What else is there? We can just change the polarity. Oops, I want to go sideways for that one for some reason. Keyboard control. We can track the keyboard. PWM sounds like I expect it to. Vibrato depth. Okay, that's vibrato. We have pitch bend. PWMs again as usual. 50 to down to 10%, so you can get very thin and weedy VCO sounds if you want them. sure there's a few other tricks you can do on this, but that's the bulk of the things I've found out in a day. Very similar to a lot of other 2-oscillator synthesizers. I mean, I'd say the PWM on both oscillators, the ring modulator, the retriggering ADSR. Glide. Global thing. Again, if you plug a CV in, let's plug a CV in, I have one. So I have the grandmother playing a sequence randomly. For now, these controls have no effect because the CV, this generates the CV. The CV is, I don't know about the PWM, maybe that still works. Okay, so that button still works because it's independent of the frequency. Yep. Okay, so the PWM source still works with CV in. When the CV's in, the keyboard can generate triggers, but it doesn't generate CV. It's a nice instrument, nice case, lid, carrying handle. There's a couple of issues with the keypad. This note, this one, and this one. Certainly these two go down much further. They actually hit the case. So I assume there's just some stop material missing underneath. Mechanically it's a fairly noisy keyboard. So what we're listening to here is VCO 1 on here and VCO 2 on the grandmother. So 0 beat, using the grandmother's frequency offset. That sounds like at least the tracking's off somewhere. I have to not sure what the issue is. But anyway, it sounds like we just need to, the tracking maybe need adjusting on the Solus. Or it might be the grandmother's out. One of the two's out. We don't track with each other, but they're pretty close otherwise. Yeah, so it's a nice instrument. At some point the L&R Perlman Foundation will come and pick it up, or